Welcome to a brand new episode of Fairy Dust TV. I'm your host, Jen Burton, romantic fairy godmama to smart, successful single women around the world. Today's topic, how to make a love connection. Now, before we get started, can I confess something to you? I hate the question, what is love? Now, before you even go there thinking, man, she's a really bad romantic fairy godmama, let me explain a little bit. You see, the question, what is love, or actually love, is very subjective. It's different to every person. Yes, we all have some underlining themes that we can grab onto and identify love with, but it's a very personal experience that nobody can tell you exactly what it is for you. With that said, I do feel 100% great about telling you how to make a love connection instead of talking about the question, what is love? So that's what we are going to do today in this brand new episode of Fairy Dust TV. And let's get started with number one. The first thing you can do to make a love connection. And I want you to share pieces of yourself with him. Now, I actually want you to unveil yourself to him. And let me explain a little bit. Back in 2006, before I started my magical dating experiences, I had an approach to meeting and dating men that did not work out so well. And in fact, pushed lots of guys away very quickly. And that was, I would vomit myself all over men. Or the second approach was I would not share very much of myself and just kind of assume their world, pretending to like all of the things they liked. And neither one of these approaches worked very well at all. In fact, it made for really crappy dating experiences and a very crappy first marriage. So what I want you to do is be willing to share pieces of who you are. And if you don't still feel like you know who you are, that's okay. What I want you to do is to dedicate yourself to exploring who you are and what you like instead of focusing all of your attention on him. And then the second piece is that I don't want you, when you do meet him, to vomit yourself all over him, meaning you don't have to disclose everything right away so that he can assess whether or not he likes you right away, so that if you're going to get hurt, it happens very quickly instead of later. Because frankly, I know we say we don't do this as women, but the truth is we do. When we're vomiting ourselves on men, it's because we're insecure. We're afraid that he's not going to like us for who we are. But if you use the very seductive technique of unveiling yourself little by little, letting him earn the opportunity by spending time with you and by treating you well to get to know more and more about you, your whole romantic destiny, lover girl, is going to change drastically. So don't be afraid to share pieces of who you are, but do it at a slower pace than maybe you've been doing it before. Now, if you're the girl who hasn't been sharing anything about yourself, well, you need to up it just a little bit. But most of my ladies, we do a lot of verbal vomiting on guys because we're so afraid that he's not going to like us for who we are. But if he gets the opportunity to earn your trust and to earn those pieces of you, trust me, he is going to value you even more. Now, which brings me to number two. And I want you to ask him quality questions. Now, okay, I'm going to be really honest with you. I couldn't figure out exactly who said this quote, but I'm going to share the quote with you anyways. I think it was Tony Robbins, but I could very well be mistaken on that. And I didn't spend a whole bunch of time researching it. So Tony, I think, maybe somebody else, said the quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. And this is the same in romance. If you're, when you're on a date, going to ask him the same boring questions that you ask all men all the time and give him nothing creative to jump off of and to start a different conversation with you. And you can also do this, by the way, when you're online dating. And it's very important to do. But if you're not willing to go another level and improve the questions that you approach men with, and I'm not just talking about in the initial stages, I'm talking about throughout your relationship, then don't expect things to get better romantically, because then you're just leaving it on him to develop your creativity. And the truth is that every one of us women inside of us has a romantic creative genius that is begging to be unleashed. But a lot of times we're scared of her, or we don't think that she's as qualified as she could be. And the only way to get better with her is to be a little bit romantically courageous and ask different questions, ask playful questions, ask meaningful questions. Don't make them all serious, because nobody needs to do serious all at once. Long-term romance is based more on how playful you guys and how much fun you can have together than it is about always being able to do the serious stuff. You need that interjection of fun, because life without it really sucks. Okay, so I want you to improve the quality of your questions with men. And you can do this in so many ways. So you can start right now. Make a list. Make a list of playful questions that you would like to ask them, and start there. Okay, now number 3. Lover girl, I'm going to tell you, this is huge. And I could do a series of 10 videos specifically on this one item. So I want you to really think about this for about 15 minutes and then stop, because it's so big it might overwhelm you, but it's really important. I need you to learn how to set him up to win with you. The truth is, most of us women in dating are not setting men up to win with us. We're setting them up to lose. We are so afraid of being hurt, of having our heart broken and stomped on, that we will do lots of things to sabotage our potential with a certain guy. And then once we get into a relationship, we can go back into those habits. So meaning, I've been in a relationship with my husband, now we've been together a total of 10 years. I can still find times where I am setting him up to lose with me. So this is something very important to consider. So there's lots of different examples on lots of different ways that can happen, but let me give you one. A lot of women, if a man cancels a date with them, will tell me he stood me up. But did he really stand you up? Now, standing somebody up typically means that you arrived at the date and he never did. But if he actually called and canceled, even though it was a little bit late for him to cancel, did he really stand you up? So automatically, you are taking something that's not necessarily true, exaggerating on it to have more of a victim role in it, instead of saying, you know what, I don't like the fact that he last minute canceled on me, but I'm not going to go tell my girlfriends that he stood me up and make it very dramatic. And by the way, I have a flair for the dramatic as well. So I do understand you ladies on this. It's just something to definitely consider. And the other thing that women do too is we pay attention to men who treat us like crap. And then the men that are being considerate, are treating us the way that we would like to be treated, will automatically dismiss him, because he's too nice, he's too this, he's too that. But yet we will obsess and worry and ask a billion of our friends about this other guy who isn't paying attention to us all and not treating us the way he doesn't call when he says he's going to, all that kind of stuff. Which brings me to another part of that, and that is, are you doing everything on a man's terms because you want him to like you so bad? So let's say you meet that guy. He makes you weak in the knees. And then all of a sudden, your world is about his. He asks you if you want to go to the football game, but you fucking hate football. Yet you're saying yes, going out and buying the jersey and doing all kinds of things because you want him to like you, because when he kissed you, you felt things you haven't felt below the belt in years. This is another way to set him up to lose with you. Men need to know what your likes and dislikes are too. And that's why, when we were talking earlier in number 1 about you sharing pieces of yourself with him, it's important for you to start, if you haven't already, discovering what makes you tick. Not just about how you feel when you're with him, but what interests you outside of being with him. What do you like? And be able to share that with a man, and not always doing exactly what he wants. Because truthfully, he might think you're the coolest chick in the world at the beginning, but it doesn't usually ever work out the way you want it to. At some point, one of two things happen. You, without even thinking about it, you might be the cool chick, but then he starts realizing that he has nothing to do in order to earn your affection and earn your attention, and that becomes really boring. Or the second thing that happens is that you end up resenting him and go into bitch mode because you feel neglected. But you're not admitting that you actually set him up to do it. So that is very important to consider when you are working on making a love connection with a man that you really like. Okay, lover girl. 3, count them. 3 ways to make a love connection. Don't worry so much about the question, what is love? Okay, that will be something that is very personal to you and something that very well may evolve over your lifetime. What is important is that you understand how you can set men up to win with you, allow love into your life, ask him different questions so that boredom doesn't have to set in over the course of a long-term relationship. And very important, to share pieces of you with him and unveil yourself slowly, allowing him to develop more and more natural attraction to you. Okay, lover girl, I will see you in the next episode of Fairy Dust TV. Here's to you having him your way.